Welcome, everybody, to Technology Today, episode number 40. I'm your host, David Herzog, and today I've got some stories from the world of technology, and I'm going to talk about some of the most commonly used passwords and how long it takes to crack each one. So, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. Well, hello everybody, what's going on? It's David Herzog talking at you here. How's everybody doing? Wow, last week of the year, 2021, December here. Wow, where did the time go? It goes a lot quicker than we all think it should, right? Well, anyway, if you're curious and you'd like to listen to this podcast, Spreaker.com in the technology section of their webpage is the place where you can listen to it first. Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. You can also watch this on my YouTube channel, Technology Today, and you can also watch this on my Twitter page as well too. And with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to our first story here. Malicious XLL add-ins push redline password stealing malware. Cybercriminals are spamming website contact forums and discussion forums to distribute XLL files that download and install the Redline password information stealing malware. Redline is an information stealing Trojan that steals cookies, usernames, and passwords, and credit cards stored in web browsers, as well as FTP credentials and files from an infected device. In addition to stealing data, Redline can execute commands, download and run further malware, and create screenshots of the active Windows screen. All this data is collected and sent back to the attackers to be sold on criminal marketplaces or used for other malicious and fraudulent activity. These spam campaigns are designed to push malicious XLL files that download and install the Redline malware on victims' Windows devices. An XLL file is an add-in that allows developers to extend the functionality of Excel by reading and writing data, importing data from other sources, or creating custom functions to perform various tasks. XLL files are simply a DLL file that includes an XL auto open function executed by Microsoft Excel when the add-in is opened. Once the malware is executed, it will search for valuable data to steal, including credentials and credit cards stored in the Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Brave, and Opera browsers. If you have become a victim of this campaign, you should assume that your stored passwords are compromised and immediately change them. Additionally, if you have credit cards stored in your browsers, you should contact your credit card company to alert them of the incident. So, that's a piece of information for all of us Excel users to be aware of, because all of us have Excel, we use it in some way, shape, or form. Okay, Well, I think we're ready to get on to the next story here. All right. Convincing Microsoft Phishing uses fake Office 365 spam alerts. A persuasive and ongoing series of phishing attacks are using fake Office 365 notifications, asking the recipients to review block spam messages with the end goal of stealing their Microsoft credentials. What makes these phishing emails especially convincing is that use of quarantine at messaging.microsoft.com to send them to potential targets and display name matching the recipient's domains. Also, the attackers have embedded the official Office 365 logo and included links to Microsoft's privacy statement and acceptable use policy at the end of the email. Luckily, the phishing messages come with text formatting issues and out of place extra spaces that would allow spotting these emails' malicious nature on closer inspection. And that's your clue right there. If you see an email that's addressed that says has Office 365 logo and there's text formatting issues with the text doesn't look right or there's too many spaces in the email description line, just delete it. Don't play around with it. Don't click on it. Don't do anything with it. Just delete it. The email subject is spam notification. 1. New messages, alluding to the body of the email that informs the recipient that a spam message has been blocked and is being held in quarantine for them to review. Details of the prevented spam message are provided with scammers personalized the subject heading as company domain, adjustment, transaction expenses, Q3 update to create a sense of urgency, and using a finance related message. So they make it look like it's an actual email coming from your company, that you work for, when it really isn't. The targets are given 30 days to review the quarantine messages by going to Microsoft Security and Compliance Center by clicking on an embedded link, which is something you should never do in any email. Don't click on any embedded links or anything. However, instead of reaching the Office 365 portal when clicking the review button, they are sent to a phishing landing page that will ask them to enter their Microsoft credentials to access the quarantined spam messages. And I want to reemphasize, I just said, don't click on any emails, in any way, shape, or form, unless you know the person who is sending the email. If you don't know the person that's sending the email, if you're not familiar with that person or organization in any way, don't click on the don't click on the link in any email. Unless you know the person or organization that sent the email. And after entering their credentials in the malicious form displayed on the phishing page, their accounts details get sent to attacker-controlled servers. If they fall victim to these tricks, the victim's Microsoft credentials will later be used by the cybercriminals to take control of their accounts and gain access to all their information. So, for all of us who have Microsoft 365 accounts, that's something else for us to be aware of. All right. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get to the final technology story of the day here. SonicWall strongly urges customers to patch critical SMA 100 bugs. SonicWall strongly urges organizations using SMA 100 series appliances to immediately patch them against multiple security flaws rated with CVSS scores ranging from medium to critical. The bugs impact SMA 200, 210, 400, 410, and 500V appliances even when the web application firewall is enabled. The highest severity flaws patched by SonicWall and this past week are CVE 2021 20038 20038 and CVE 2021 245. Two critical stack-based buffer overflow vulnerabilities that can let remote unauthenticated attackers execute as the nobody user in compromised devices. Other bugs patched by the company on Tuesday enable authenticated threat actors to gain remote code execution, inject arbitrary commands, or upload crafted web pages and files to any directory in the appliance following successful exploitation. However, the most dangerous one is left unpatched is CVE 2021 20039. This high severity security issue can be left unauthenticated. Can let unauthenticated attackers inject arbitrary commands as the root user, leading to a remote takeover of unpatched devices. Luckily, SonicWall says that it hasn't yet found any evidence of any of these security vulnerabilities being exploited in the wild. SonicWall urges impacted customers to implement applicable patches as soon as possible, the company said in a security advisory published this past Tuesday. Customers using SMA 100 series appliances are advised to immediately log into their SonicWall, mysonicwall.com accounts to upgrade the firmware to versions outlined in the SonicWall PSIRT advisory. Upgrade assistance on how to upgrade the firmware on SMA 100 appliances is available in this knowledge base article or by contacting SonicWall's support. So, if you are a user of SonicWall software, there's some important information for you to be aware of. Alright. And we are getting ready for the technology tip of the day. The last one I feel was important, to mention in this last podcast of the year here. We all have them. We all have accounts. And we all have passwords that are connected to those accounts. Excuse me. So, and here we go. 5 commonly used passwords in the U.S. and the time it takes to crack each one. This one, totally blew my mind, but it's really not uncommon. Any digital security expert will tell you how important it is to have unique, different, hard-to-guess passwords or passphrases for each of your online accounts. You should never, ever use the same password for every account that you have. Whether it's with Adobe, your email provider, excuse me, whatever. You should never use the same password for every account that you have. And, on the slide here, for those who are watching, here is some examples of passwords and how long it takes to crack each one. First one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The time to crack that password is 1 second. The word password, lowercase. The time to crack that password is 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The time to crack that password is 1 second. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. The time to crack that password is 1 second. You see the pattern here. Right. It takes a second to crack these passwords. And the final password example that I have for those who are watching here, password 1. The time to crack that password. The word password with the number 1 at the end of the D in the word password. The time to crack that is 1 second. So this should be a wake-up call for anybody, and I'm sure a majority of us know this, but there might be some people who do not. If you find that you have the same password for all of your accounts, go to each account you have and set up a unique password for each account. And after you do that, and as you are doing that for each one of your accounts, get a piece of paper with you and write down on a piece of paper each of the passwords for each account that you set up for future reference in case you forget the password for your specific account. So it's very important, we all live in the day and age where we have usernames and passwords. This is how we do business. This is how we communicate and talk to each other. Yeah. This is how we communicate and talk to each other and, do business. Well, alrighty. Well, passwords, usernames. We do live in a password and username society. So it's very important to have different passwords for each one of your accounts to keep yourself safe online. And if you see anything in the tech news like I do and stuff where if there's a company that you do business with, that you have an account with that has been hacked, change your password immediately. Keep yourself safe online. We all have to do that. It's very important. It's up to us. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to be proactive and do it yourself. All right. Well, that's going to conclude the show for the day. If you're curious and you'd like to find out more information about me, you can find me on the University of Cincinnati's homepage at homepages.uc.edu/the Herzog DL. Or you can find this podcast on Spreaker.com in the technology section of the webpage and on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. And you can also watch this podcast on my YouTube channel, Technology Today, and on my Twitter page as well too. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening and watching today. And I'll be talking at you soon. Goodbye until next time. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the holiday season with your family and friends. Get your vaccinations. And I'll see you all in 2022. And bye-bye for now.